What do you think the impact of tariffs is going to be? We're seeing a lot of stuff coming out of the tariff situation, and I think broadly right now it seems very, very difficult to make a assumption. Perhaps in the short term it's looking quite painful, but the question is long term, is it going to have any good impacts? What we're seeing at the minute is Trump's tariffs driving thousands of layoffs in US manufacturing plants. And we've seen this not just in the US, but actually in neighbouring countries. I'll give you the example that we saw from Canada. So we've seen GM Oshawa assembly workers facing 700 layoffs amid ongoing Canada-US trade war. Simply put, it's very difficult to navigate this trade environment, and it's just going to be very, very difficult. So, as the Detroit 3 auto companies respond to Trump's program to use punitive tariffs to reshore auto assembly and parts production back to the US, a GM spokesperson explained, these changes will help support sustainable manufacturing footprints as GM reorients the Oshawa plant to build more trucks in Canada for Canadian customers. So the question is then, what is the impact going to be in the US? So we've seen some companies allegedly saying that they're going to be laying off thousands of workers or hundreds of workers at the very least. Actually, we've seen some companies already doing so. Volvo has announced cutting 800 workers at its Volvo Mack Trucks plant in Pennsylvania, also in Virginia and Maryland too. So apparently the demand is simply just not there. Heavy duty truck orders continue to be negatively impacted by market uncertainty about freight rates and demand, possible regulatory changes, and the impact of tariffs. So they are not the only ones doing this. And again, workers are not just numbers. They are parents, neighbours, veterans. They are skilled tradespeople and they build America. They're the backbone. But the reality is, companies just can't deal with this current market. We are seeing Stellantis, who makes a number of vehicles, laying off 900 employees in Michigan and Indiana as well, as the company paused production at some of its Canadian and Mexican assembly operations, according to a company memo. Also, we've seen a steelmaker, Cleveland Cliffs, saying that they're going to be laying off more than 1,200 workers in Michigan and Minnesota in March. And General Motors has announced earlier in the month that it would lay off 200 workers at a plant in Detroit. So that's just a few examples. The question is though, what is the impact going to be more long term? Now some say that this is going to impact as many as 177,000 jobs. But obviously the question is, will it create more? That's the question. Some people think that the tariffs could potentially create about 100,000 jobs, whilst also killing up to 500,000 across all industries. But it looks like in the manufacturing space, it is already perhaps particularly painful. Let me know what you think to this one in the comments, guys. Thank you so much for your time in the video, and if you enjoyed it, do make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and I do hope I'll see you again in another one. Thank you for now, I'll see you soon.